achieve American greatness.
Ring-a-ling-ding. Air Cap, AER Cap 50. Never heard of that. That's stock exchange right there, Broad and Wall. Close. Weird day today. Mixed day. This morning, Dow was down quite a bit. 300 or so. NASDAQ was down about 500. This afternoon, it started making a comeback. Not sure why it came back. They were talking about a group of manufacturers, importers who were suing the Trump administration over tariffs, and that's what took the market down initially. Not sure what kind of raised it back up. About half of where it was down, at least on the NASDAQ side. Got the fold down to 2025 in the gold. Oil market doing nothing, staying high at 65. A lot of tensions with Iran. You know, we have a major buildup. We have 2 aircraft carriers. We have 2 destroyer groups, and we have a whole lot of aircraft in the area waiting to possibly attack Iran. And the word out this morning was they were not interested in talking about their nuclear program. So that may happen. That's why the oil market stays strong. Bitcoin backed off a little bit from yesterday. Again, yesterday low 62, 70 high. Today 67, right back in the middle of it. No idea what's going on with Bitcoin. I will tell you, though, international disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons why gold has risen, get this, 700% in the last 20 years. And I just told you more than 100% in the last year and a half alone. A never-ending list of reasons why smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. More than any other commodity on earth, gold thrives during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold as a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you, too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text the word America to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. No obligation, just useful information. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau is what Birch Gold has, and tens of thousands of happy customers. Let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold so you too can have peace of mind regardless of uncertainty. Text America, that word America, to 989898. Again, text that word America to 989898. Okay, my first guest, a political commentator. I've been working with Stephanie for years. Contributing writer for Media Research Center. Happy to have Stephanie Hamill with us. Back with us, Steph. Good to have you. There's so much to talk about. I just want to start with this because it's not getting enough attention. Kamala Harris somehow thinks she's going to run for president again. I don't think she has any right to do that. She's going to make a fool out of herself yet again. Take a look at this, though.
The SAVE Act. You know what the SAVE Act would do? Require that people show a birth certificate or a passport to register to vote. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it's something like 40% of Americans don't have those documents. Married women, if you changed your name when you got married, it's going to be different than what's on your birth certificate, right? And what that's going to do in terms of complicating the ability of women to register to vote.
Stephan, yet Mayor Mamdani in New York said you need 2 forms of ID, 2 pictures as well, and a passport to shovel snow for the city. Your thoughts?
I think Harris maybe had a little too many glasses of Chardonnay before she filmed that segment, because that number 40% sounds really high. I think the number is like 20 million Americans, according to Democrats, are the ones that aren't going to be able to have the documents that they need to get an ID. So, as you pointed out, you need ID, multiple forms of ID to be an emergency snow shoveler in New York City. But for some reason, Democrats don't think you need an ID to vote. I mean, this is the most important civic duty you have as an American. And when there are people who are essentially not showing IDs to vote, we don't know if they actually have the right to vote in this country. And that would disenfranchise a voter like me and you. So it's not fair. This whole argument against voter ID is totally disingenuous. The Democrats are dishonest, and they're also racist when they have this conversation. They try to make it seem like minorities aren't smart enough or capable of getting the documents that they need together to get an ID. And we just know that that's not true. And minorities called the Democrats out on this. And if you look at the polling, Eric, I've never seen polling where so many Americans agree on the same thing. Some 80% of Americans agree that we should have voter ID. And then if you look into the numbers further, minorities support this in overwhelming numbers. Like some 75% of Black Americans support this, and some 80% of Latinos support this. And
those are the accurate numbers, folks. Those are exactly the numbers. And that's not broken down by right and left wing. Those are total, both sides of the aisle, including independents. That's a big loser for Democrats. Gavin Newsom, let's just work right into this, because Gavin Newsom, and the theme that minorities aren't smart enough or capable enough to get an ID for themselves to vote. That's the theory that they're going on. So, therefore don't require an ID to vote, Democrats say. Gavin Newsom takes it one step further, saying he's like you, Black people in the audience, Black mayor that he's talking to. He's like you. He got a 960 on his SATs. We'll play it again because it's worth listening to. No? Okay, maybe we don't have it. If we don't have it, trust me, he said it. But then he went further and say, and I can't read, just like you. I can't read. You never saw me read a speech. How much more? They called it the low expectations, the bigotry of low expectations. I think George Bush, the one smart thing he ever said was, but talking down to Black people and minorities, bad time to do it coming up with midterms.
This video that you're talking about, I hope your audience has seen it or will take the time to watch it. This is exactly how the Democrats feel about minorities. And they show this to us over and over again. It's not just Governor Gavin Newsom who will say this in front of a Black audience and be smug and think he's being funny by being self-deprecating, but it's also other people like Governor Kathy Hochul, who essentially said that Black young children didn't know how to use computers or had never heard of the word computers, or former President Joe Biden when he said, "You ain't Black if you're not voting for him." I mean, it's just totally egregious, and they should be called out on it. And the latest with Newsom is he's blaming MAGA for the stupid and racist remarks he made. That was just yesterday. So it's actually our fault that he said something horribly racist and, essentially doesn't really want to take it back, because it's actually our fault for making a big deal about it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the big things that I think would actually help the country, finally help the country, the SAVE Act. We have a situation where we got two leaders in D.C. You have Mike Johnson, who doesn't want to bring things to the floor for a vote because he doesn't want to expose his rhino caucus on the right. This is basically what it is. They're not America First. They're not MAGA. Half of them are rhinos. So all these things that Trump does every day from the Oval Office, executive order, it goes to the floor, and they don't take it up as a vote to codify it because they're afraid of exposure on who's not going to vote for it. So John Thune now has the SAVE Act, but will he bring it to the floor of the Senate to codify it so that we can finally say that, yes, we do want IDs to vote in America?
Yeah. So, Eric, we know that this passed the House, and that's great. And so right now it's the question is what's going to happen in the Senate, and how are Republicans going to move this forward? And there's a few options, right? We've heard the president say, if Republicans don't handle it, I'll just do an executive order, which could potentially have legal troubles and could stall things. And, Republicans want this as soon as possible so that we can use it in the midterm elections and the next presidential race. So another discussion was just completely ending the filibuster. And as a Republican, that's something I've been really uncomfortable with for many, many years, because you worry about what about when you're not in power? And that would be that Democrats would essentially be able to use that tool, and we wouldn't be able to complain because that would be hypocrisy. And then now the conversation is potentially the standing filibuster because, as you pointed out, the votes aren't there yet. And, I'm just so disappointed. Like, how is this such a big debate? How is this just such a hard thing to do, to support voter ID? It makes my head want to explode, Eric.
We were just talking about Nicki Minaj calling out Gavin Newsom that mayor just sat there. There's a mayor, I can't remember what city he was from. There's a mayor, it just sat there and let Gavin Newsom say, hey, I'm just like you guys, I got 960. I mean, that's really insulting to talk to a group of people. That's racist in itself, to take a group of people and apply the same standard to everyone because of the color of their skin. I'm just like you, I got 960. I'm just like you, I can't read a script, a speech. And at least Nicki Minaj, with her long fingernails and all, came out and said that is pretty BS that mayor just sat there and didn't hold him accountable. But there is no accountability on the left.
Yeah, this will be a perfect video for a campaign ad for Republicans, or even Democrats, if you will, if Governor Newsom decides to jump into the presidential race. And at this point, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's polling really well among potential Democratic voters who are looking at him and the former Vice President Kamala Harris as the top picks to be president. It is insanity that we're at this point. And as a former Californian resident, I lived there while Gavin Newsom was in office. I can tell you, I don't want a California, the United States of America. Yeah. His policies are awful. He is, he just smirks and he smiles and he thinks because he wears a lot of hair gel that people are going to take him serious. But if you actually really dive into what he's done to that state while he's been in office, I mean, it is absolutely atrocious. Just think about the homelessness crisis and how many billions of dollars have been given to the state by the federal government to clean up this mess. And they really haven't tackled it at all. If you look at it, the numbers have gotten worse.
Well, finally, thought on Ilhan Omar's outrageous show of disrespect to the country, not only President Trump, but the country. The State of the Union. I'm old enough to remember Joe Wilson yelling, "You lied," to President Obama, and I was right around 2010 or so, 2009, I think. We called it "You lied," and it was the biggest thing that the Democrats went apoplectic. How rude, how horrible. He said two words, you lie, about being able to keep your doctor under Obamacare. But now she's yelling back, and look, they were showing video, screaming in the chamber, and Rashida Tlaib not there with the F-U-C-K ICE button that she covered partially up after she was on camera. Your thoughts?
This congresswoman clearly has no self-control, and you have to wonder why she's behaving so madly, and it's because she's being called out about all the fraud that's been happening and uncovered in Minnesota. So, it's just totally inappropriate. I mean, the lack of self-control, I mean, this is not the arena for that. And Republicans, they call it out on all sides when stuff like this happens. It's just totally inappropriate. This was a total stunt. She knows that the media will just, soak this all in and report on it and play her out to be some sort of victim and that we should feel bad for her. But again, it's totally inappropriate. I laughed out loud when
Steph,
I saw Trump's
I think we're going to find something. I think we're going to find something. I think with her, all of a sudden, $30 million in a year gets into her and her husband's bank account after a $19 billion plus theft of the taxpayers' money. I think you're going to find some shred, some hook, and I think that will be the impetus to not only get her out of Congress, maybe get her behind bars. I'm just guessing. Speculation, folks. I'm not accusing. I'm guessing. Stephanie, really good to have you. Always good to have you. Get you back again. You can talk about just about anything with Stephanie. Appreciate your time, Stephanie.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, folks. The Edge, wearing the shirt today. Posted a brand new episode this morning. Do you remember the show, The Biggest Loser? It's a massive show. It's a huge, one of the first reality shows, one of the most popular shows in the history of American television. I don't know. It's so real. It scared the bejesus out of me. These very, very fat people were working within a few weeks to lose a lot of weight, and they lost a ton of weight. But there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes. One of the two trainers is Jillian Michaels and Bob Harper. Jillian came on the show to tell us some of the things that went on behind the scenes of this show.
Sitting inside the wall, snot's pouring out of my nose. I'm crying. I can't wrap my head around it. He looks at me one more time and he goes, "If you don't fight your way out of this corner, I will break every rib in your body." And let me tell you, Eric, I got out of that corner.
Yeah.
And I've been fighting my way out ever since.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Was this the moment you realized you're going to light being fair, you better fight, or you're asking?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Right. Later, he sent in an older student. The student who was older than me was a black belt that I was close with, who was at the time 17 and a half. So I went into the house crying, and Adam came into the house, and his name was Adam, and talked to me for a little bit and explained to me, this is our teacher's name was Rob. This is what Rob does. And later, Rob was like, "I don't think you get it."
That woman is a fighter. She's a badass. A woman who pushed the woke mob aside. We go deep into what makes her as effective and successful as she was on that show and has been since. So please go to this QR code, use your camera, subscribe to that right now, youtube.com/@EricBollingTheEdge, or just go to YouTube, search it out, Eric Bolling the Edge. And the reason why we're huge, 11,500 subscribers in 5 months, elite status. But what it tells YouTube is to push this stuff out more. I want you part of this. I want to get it big. So thank you for watching Rav all day long. Thank you for watching Bowling at 4, and thank you for hitting over there and just subscribe driving, do me a favor, let's get this thing really up and moving. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th, like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news.
Well, we got some huge news. Old Glory Bank, really good friends of the network and of the show and of mine. Actually know those folks very well. They're expected to go public in a few months. That's right. Old Glory Bank expects to be listed on NASDAQ. That's a big deal. This means that everyday Americans who love this country will be able to own stock in a bank that actually stands for our values, the freedom economy, the DeFi economy, that's crypto basically, traditional values. It's a win for all of us. Old Glory Bank offers everything you need, but more importantly, they're run by patriots who share our values. That matters. Go to oldglorybank.com/Rab, oldglorybank.com/Rab to learn more. oldglorybank.com/Rab. Really, really, really good. Patriotic folks there. All right, my next guest, the sheriff of Lee County, Florida. He's thinking about running for Congress, but has decided he can best serve his community as sheriff by putting criminals behind bars and protecting the most vulnerable. Happy to have my friend, Sheriff Carmine Marceno, with us. Sheriff, I read this. Tell us about this. Lee County, how many counties? You're leading all counties in the state of Florida working with ICE in deportations. Tell us about that.
So right now, there's 67 counties in the state of Florida. We rank number one for removing illegals, right? And we're not knocking on doors and going into people's homes or taking the cooks out of restaurants, right? During the normal course of our duties, we come into contact, we stop someone, they're committing a criminal act. We work directly with ICE and they're removed. We've removed over 1,177 people. We've never been safer. The crime rate's never been lower.
Sheriff, I did a ride along in Orlando with ICE. I think ICE. I was with ICE. They brought me, but I noticed that it's called the force multiplier. When the sheriff's department, when the troopers, when the whole state gets behind with the federal agents, when everyone gets there, I think the FBI was there as well. I mean, it's amazing the show of force. It really becomes effective. Tell us about the force multiplier effect in Florida.
So Florida's doing incredibly well and leading the way because we all work together. The local, state, and federal partners, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the state troopers, local sheriffs, local police departments, again, HSI, everyone is doing a great job. And what is the purpose of ICE? It's to remove the illegals. People that are illegally here and committing crimes, we don't want them here, right? You got to go through the process, go through the vetting process and all the above. Just yesterday, we had a guy 3 times he's been deported. He's a violent gang member, violent history of arrests, okay? And here he is. He's still committing crimes, and he's out. He's removed. And the world's a better place without him being here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to remove them permanently, so and they don't come back. These Democrats want to keep allowing them to come back. Sheriff, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, I found this highly disrespectful. I cannot believe we're living in a day and age. Guys, roll the soundbite of what Mamdani calls a simple snowball fight that got a little out of hand. I see as massive disrespect to the badge. Watch. Sheriff Carmine, break that down for us. I mean, all the way from Mamdani calling what he said about it to where this is Eric, where things start to unravel, right? But go ahead.
It's sickening. First of all, New York City is my hometown, and I'm sad to see the tone and people allowed to create that certain amount of Mannheim, right? Mamdani has said he wants to abolish ICE. ICE has done a phenomenal job, okay? And to see police officers in uniform, okay, you and I both know if that was the average person walking down the street getting struck with ice in the face, lacerations, that's assault. You go to jail. And if you allow people to behave like this, I got to tell you, first of all, it sickens me, okay? And we all have to back the people in law enforcement. Every elected official, every sheriff, everyone has to stand united and back the men that wear that uniform. And you know what? The people in Florida might not like me for saying this, but guess what? I wish it would snow for an hour here because I'd make it rain. Every single one of those people, I'd come out with a raining uniform personnel, and everyone's going to jail for hitting cops in the face with snowballs. This is ridiculous, Eric. This is how it starts, and it's allowed. And which should never be tolerated. Zero tolerance.
Now, there's theory in law enforcement, and Rudy Giuliani famously put this into action. It's called broken windows, right? You see broken windows, you look the other way in broken windows in a city, in an area, and all of a sudden it leads to more vandalism, leads to more crime, right? When you clean up things as small as broken windows, my point is, if you start letting lunatics start hitting cops with snowball, some of those cops got hit pretty hard in the face. You start allowing that, they're going to take that to the next level. They're going to push to see how far, what they can do to cops. And then when they think they've overrun the cops, then law and order's out the window. Sir, I give it to you.
Well, this tone has to be set at the top. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be clear. Okay. And if we allow this behavior, you're right. It's only going to get worse. This is not a friendly couple of kids throwing snowballs at each other. Cops got lacerations. They're getting treated in the hospital because they got hit in the face, okay? This is despicable behavior. And if we allow this, it's going to get worse, okay? So we need to all stand up. And from the top, okay, we need law and order. We need to show people you respect law enforcement, okay? And we know that Mamdani does not want that aggressive stance against crime.
I don't want to cut you off, but talk to this. I've talked about this for 100 years. I used to live in New York. I watched de Blasio treat the cops like crap. They turned their back on him when he showed up at a cop funeral. When the mayor's office doesn't back the badge, cops are like, there's too much risk for me to get involved. If I'm not getting the office and the mayor to back me, why am I risking my life for this? Not that they're bad cops, but the risk reward becomes way out of skew for an average cop, right?
I mean, there's no greater cause than to go out and serve, right? We serve this country in the military. We serve in uniform in a different way. But why would a person want to go out there and serve when at the top they are not supported doing their job? And by the way, their job, when they kiss their loved ones goodbye, husbands, wives, daughters, family members, they don't know they're going to return. So we need to support them more than ever. And thank God for President Trump. I mean, President Trump has made it so incredibly great to be a law enforcement officer, to do your job and to do what's right and to stand for what's right. This administration has been unbelievable to law enforcement. And, you know, Governor DeSantis at the state level, we have at the top the best support ever. And it saddens me. In New York, the mayor said the only person that should be hit is him with a snowball. I got to tell you, I'm disgusted he's in office.
Yeah. Is there a message to him from the most successful sheriff, one of the most successful sheriffs in Florida? I'll call you, you're my friend. I'll call you the most successful, to New York City mayor about backing the blue?
My message is clear. It doesn't matter what political side you're on. This is a much, much greater issue. You can disagree professionally and all the above, but as mayor, you need to back that uniform, back law enforcement, and don't allow people to act like this and stand for what's right. Protect your men that are in uniform every single day out there. You need to start at the top, and he needs to start immediately.
Thank you for your time. Keep doing a great job, Sheriff. Sheriff Carmine Marcino, Lee County Sheriff, #1 in the state. Deportations, working with ICE. Force multiplier right there, friends. Carmine, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks, we'll be back. 2.5 minutes.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
All righty, folks, I'm happy to have my next guest back on the show. She's the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Justice. Let's welcome back Harmeet Dillon. Harmeet, good to have you back. The Justice Department is suing Harvard University for withholding race-related admissions documents, which will determine whether Harvard is continuing to discriminate in its admissions process. It was a huge thing with Trump administration pulling back money. Judge said you have to give them the money. Where does it stand? What do you think they're still doing?
Well, so dating back to April last year, when I first was sworn into this job, almost, close to a year ago now, we requested this data from the nation's most elite institutions to confirm that taxpayer dollars were not being wasted on institutions continuing to discriminate. And Harvard has a host of issues, including anti-Semitism and, of course, the DEI issues and racial discrimination in admissions, hiring, and, I'm sure other issues as well. And so over the last nearly a year, we've been negotiating with Harvard, trying to reach a resolution. And that resolution, like the resolutions with Columbia, Brown, Cornell, a bunch of other institutions, would require them to give us this data regularly. Well, Harvard has neither responded to our data request, as they're required to do by federal law, nor reached a contractual agreement in which they would do it regularly without us having to ask. And so we have no choice, while these negotiations are pending, to go ahead and get this data, because otherwise the United States taxpayer is on the hook for all this money that frankly, may be flowing to an institution that's violating our federal laws.
Carmen, I've worked on this for many, many years in television. One of the other things that is really insane, like they're looking for federal funding, they're looking for help, they get assistance from a judge who says, no, Trump, you can't pull that back, whatever. There are those endowments. I think Harvard has a $50 billion endowment. They're sitting on $50 billion, which they don't pay taxes on, and they're able to trade like hedge funds and create profits from those endowments, and they're not taxed on that either. I mean, is there any way to start threatening them to, unless you're going to comply with the Department of Justice, we're going to start looking to see if that's even constitutional?
Well, look, the pending litigation, and you're correct, in the First Circuit, and particularly in this Massachusetts district, a court has enjoined the United States' attempts to cut off funding after finding that there has been discrimination. And so that deals with current grants, and we're working our way through the courts. They respect the court. We respectfully disagree with the court. And, we're moving that case along. But this is different. Regardless of that dispute, the United States has a right to this data. And so now what funding Harvard gets in the future is going to be up to whatever funding the United States is providing.
Let me tell you, the more important thing to them isn't the funding they're getting from the feds. It's that ability to not pay taxes on what they take in donations, the endowment, and then what they profit. They can make 10, 15% and never pay taxes on it. It's mind-boggling, $5 billion a year or more. I'm just throwing it out there, just a thought.
The United States Department of Justice can't do anything about that. If Congress doesn't like that, They should change the law.
Right. I would like to get them to stop making money on the Stock Act as well, hiding behind those legal curtains as well. There's another thing that you've been talking about. Tell us about this situation in, Michigan schools, 3 Michigan school districts requiring instruction on sexual orientation, gender ideology, get this, in classes pre-K through 12th grade, Harmeet?
Yeah, so this is 11 and 12-year-olds who are being indoctrinated with this sexually heavy content. And the important point here is that parents are not being notified and having the ability to opt out. Now, you and I are of an age where we went to school, our parents did get that notification, and my parents certainly opted out. They thought it was important for mom and dad to tell the kids about the birds and the bees and not, the gym teacher. And now today we're having this trans indoctrination that's happening behind parents' backs. United States Supreme Court held in a case called Mahmoud recently that parents had the absolute right to be notified of this type of sexually charged content in the schools in K through 12 and have the ability to opt out their children. And so by concealing this information, they're violating parents' rights. We won't stand for it at the DOJ. And so we are challenging this in 3 different school districts. It's going on in more places. And if we win, we'll be shutting it down throughout Michigan.
So here's the concern by a lot of people, MAGA folks, I represent them, that this is a waiting out period for academia and others. Just wait until Trump's not in office anymore, and maybe this stuff will go away. What do you thought? How would you respond to that?
Well, Eric, I represent MAGA folks, perhaps even more than you do, because the president appointed me to this position. Right. So I think I kind of get irritated by that. What do they expect us to do? Not follow the law, jump through the screen and strangle the school board members? I don't understand what we're expected to do. This is the rule of law. And this is how we're following it. We identify cases, and then we go and file lawsuits against them. And then we multiply that. I mean, this is the most active DOJ in the United States history, standing up for the rights of all American citizens, ordinary Americans. And so, when people think they're just going to throw pot shots at us for not doing things fast enough or whatever, I'd like to hear what their constructive suggestion is.
I think you're taking it the wrong way. I think it's not on you. You're going through the legal process, but the other side is claiming to play along, and they're really not. They're just waiting until it's not Trump in office anymore, and they're going to revert back to things like the gender ideology crap that you're trying to eliminate.
There's a lot of what if. The fact of the matter is that a lot of Christians don't vote. A lot of gun owners don't vote. A lot of people are apathetic about their voting rights. And maybe they should go vote, because the only way we're going to stop that thing happening that you just described is by winning elections. And that's not the role I'm in right now. I'm not a political consultant, but I do think that it is important that when we're in office and we're in a law enforcement role like I am, we follow the rule of law. And citizens can do their part by supporting the candidates who have the policies that they agree with. But sitting online and criticizing that we're not doing enough, not doing it fast enough, it's just going to change in 3 years. That's just, the sky is falling, henny penny. The sky is falling, and it's just doom scrolling. And I'm not going to buy into that.
Yeah, no, blame you. And I would say also, people say elections have consequences. Of course they do at the top of the ticket. But certainly for conservatives, the longer you have a Republican president, the more likelihood you're going to have a judicial system with judges being appointed that are more conservative. And that really is where the rubber meets the road for things like, we may not have the presidency next term. Final thought on this. I just want to ask you about Don Lemon. Anything happen with Don Lemon?
Can I just add one more point, though? On Michigan, most of the stuff that happens regarding your schools is local. So don't just vote for president. You got to get involved in your local politics as well, because then you can stop these things from happening. Now, Don Lemon is one of numerous agitators who we have arrested with respect to the violation of the FACE Act and the Klan Act in that notorious case in Minneapolis and, St. Paul. But we have other incidents like this all over the country. And I want your viewers to know that the United States has secured numerous convictions in the last 10 months since I've been in office on attacks on Christian houses of worship throughout the United States, on arson attacks, on synagogue attacks, and otherwise. We have open investigations into many of these cases. So I don't want to blow any one particular agitator out of proportion. Every single person who invaded that church committed a crime and did a bad deed. And we are going to make sure that we deter this type of criminal conduct from interfering with any house of worship of any American citizen in the future. This is a commitment of the Attorney General. It's a commitment of the President. Focused on this, and there will be news in that city's church case in the near future.
That's very good, because he claims to be hiding behind, I'm a journalist, but there's video of him riling up the crowd prior to, doesn't look like he's a journalist. He looks like he's one of the agitators prior to entering that house of worship. Harmeet, really good having you on. I appreciate your time. Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General, and doing a great job at it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Eric. Bye.
All right, folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
6 wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This
Gavin Newsom, you racist, and somehow that's our fault. That's MAGA's fault. You insult a large swath of Americans by talking down to them, and somehow that's MAGA's fault. You said the words. You said those words. You said, I can't read, just like all of you. Did you or didn't you not say that? I'm pretty sure I heard that. I think I played it. Oh, that's right. We couldn't find it. I don't know. I don't. I just tell us what you really think here, Gavin.
It was a hell of a statement, particularly for people that have been countenancing racism in their party for decades. This machine that these folks have. And I'll tell you, forget me, put anyone else. This is what we're up against in this country. It goes to why I've shifted my social media. It's why we've been much more aggressive in our approach, and why Democrats more broadly have to shift gears. Conventional politics no longer applies. The right is ruthless. They're shape-shifting the conversation. They're defining the terms of debate. We're consistently on our heels. We have got to stay on our toes. We have to stay vigilant. And this is just a reminder of that. And in many ways, I was more prepared than I've been in the past. But it is a reminder still that we've got to raise the bar further.
Also, someone must be getting a little nervous about that threat of Marco Rubio or maybe and J.D. Vance. Looks like our favorite little racist, Gavin Newsom, and his hair just can't handle it when they see someone who's an effective leader and garners respect. Do I sense a little jealous schoolgirl vibe here, Gav?
There are some people waiting in the wings in the MAGA world who would love to be the chosen ones of the Trump orbit. J.D. Vance is one of them. Marco Rubio is one of them. Do you think they can carry on the MAGA flame here?
No, but Vance, for whatever reason, scares me.
Why?
Almost more than Trump. I don't know. I just, talk about a guy who put a mask on and his face grew into it. What frauds, what phonies. But JD is a unique fraud and phony, and he's a little more dangerous.
This guy's never done a thing. He's never done a thing positive for the city of San Francisco, who is mayor, the state of California. What has he ever done? Nothing. He just does his hair nice or something. And on top of the catty throw in a little wishful thinking, racist Gavin really thinks that after Democrats continue to make a total and complete debacle of themselves at every turn, that Americans will somehow vote more of that garbage into power.
He's the president of the United States for the next 3 years. Good news, he's temporary. That's just 3 years. And the presidency, as we know it, will de facto end this November when we get the gavel back and Speaker Jeffries becomes the next speaker, as long as we remain vigilant, as he's trying to nationalize federal election, or at least in 15 states, as he's trying to take over the Fulton County elections, as he continues to vandalize free and fair elections in terms of trust and going after vote by mail, sending out those masked men all across this country and doing other suppression tactics. We need to be vigilant in that respect.
All right, this is the one I want to get to. Here we go. Cackling word salad Mary is on the rampage. Kamala is not putting those presidential dreams behind her just yet, which means she's a firm part of the Democrat campaign to push for illegals to vote in our elections.
What else have they done? The SAVE Act. You know what the SAVE Act would do? Require that people show a birth certificate or a passport to register to vote. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it's something like 40% of Americans don't have those documents. Married women, if you changed your name when you got married, it's going to be different than what's on your birth certificate.
Well, before we go any further, serious question, do they put all these people in some dark, swampy room and make them memorize the same script? Nobody has a passport or proof of birth, really? Married woman? Go on, Kemi.
This is happening in real time to suppress and obstruct the ability of people to vote. And then my concern, frankly, Aaron, is that when we saw what happened in Minneapolis, I think we need to really understand that in addition to everything that was obvious about it, it might have been basically a demonstration and a beta testing of militarizing the streets of America to intimidate people against voting.
Wow. They're going to try to win an election in a fair way, but we must stop them, I guess. She has no idea what she's doing. Is anyone here, the fat lady singing, by the way? What's this? Appropriate thanks and praise after the president helps your state and its constituents. Maybe Fetterman, John Fetterman's normalcy is rubbing off on the clowns. Maybe, but maybe not. Don't count on it. But we can still appreciate the tiny little miracles and glimmers of hope once in a while.
Michigan is open for business. New factories making batteries, cars, chips are opening in Marshall, Lake Orion, Holland, Bay City, Calumet, Hemlock, Ann Arbor, and Delta Township. A new fighter mission is coming to Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County. Probably not on the bingo card, but I want to thank President Trump for his work on this.
She's been all over the board too, right? Like she's been left, right. Found her in the Oval Office. Remember when they took a picture of her in the Oval Office and she tried to hide behind the folders? We didn't think the ladies of The View were just going to let go of the fact that the president honored the men's hockey team after they brought home Olympic gold for the first time in 46 years. Did you know? In fact, the president honoring the hockey team is somehow considered rude to the ladies of The View.
But you know what? He's also insanely rude because a lot of people won gold for the U.S. A lot of people won gold. I'm sorry. You know, a lot of the women's hockey team and the women and the young skater who comes from immigrant family. I mean, there are a lot of
He's clearly a fan of heated rivalry, Whoopi. That's why he loves the hockey players. I can agree with Donald Trump on
that. And I'm going to leave that right there. We'll talk more about this when we come back.
You don't see that.
You know, men's hockey is the most popular sport in the Olympics. That's why they do it last. They want people to wait for it. It was a huge thing. We weren't supposed to win. Canada was favored. We haven't done it in 46 years. There was reasons to be really proud and patriotic about the men's hockey team winning. The whole country got behind it. Anywhere you were in this country, you knew men's hockey just beat Canada for the gold in the Olympics. But somehow Whoopi finds some stupid, ridiculous complaint about just bringing them. You can't bring every gold medal winner. You bring the biggest one, the one that brought home the biggest prize, right? Whoopi? This right here, folks, this is why every single election is so damn important. It's why it's so important that President Trump sits in the Oval and that we maintain the majority. This right here is what we're up against. In a nutshell, emphasis on nut.
Please ask for the science-based regimens, not whatever RFK Jr. is getting kickbacks on or whatever whole milk, white supremacy, dog whistling that's happening right now. I'm getting a little too political, but...
Yeah, they're nuts. And if you need further proof of them being nuts, just take a look at their alternate State of the Union address the other night with the frogs, the Portland Frog Brigade, and the big dude in the giraffe costume with the beard. Oh, talking like this. I got arrested by ICE 3 times. They're nuts. These people are nuts. All right, new Edge episode dropped this morning. Wearing the shirt because of it. It's a huge episode. Jillian Michaels, the badass trainer who made The Biggest Loser one of the most successful reality shows ever in American television, sat down with me to talk all things Biggest Loser, the behind-the-scenes infighting between her and her co-host, Bob Harper. Get this, NBC actually threatened to sue her if she didn't, quote, play ball. Find out what she's talking about. You got to watch this episode. Boy, here's a bite.
I was horrified. Bob was horrified. I went to the network and I was like, this is a disaster. And long story short, I got an email. I actually put this on my Instagram when the Netflix thing came out. I get an email from the head of the network at NBC saying, like, if you do not play ball with us right now, if you come out against this, we're going to send our lawyers after you and you're going to jeopardize your entire relationship with NBC. And I said, oh, no problem, I quit. And I never went back to the show. That is what happened there.
She is one tough woman. And she's the first female we've had on the Edge in 5.5 months or so. perfect edge DNA. Just perseverance. Gets knocked down. She really knows how to train people, too. A lot of people lost a lot of weight working with her. You got to hit subscribe, though. Aim your camera at that QR code. Hit the yellow line that comes across. You'll be subscribed. Never going to charge you. Never going to market stuff at you. We just want YouTube to know. They know we're growing fast, but the bigger we get, the further reach we get. That's the way YouTube works. So Eric Bolling and The Edge, just search it out either on YouTube or even on Google. But get there and please subscribe. Again, thank you for watching Rav. Just keep Rav on all morning, all day, all night, into the evening, and then put it on again tomorrow. Thank you for watching us here at 4 o'clock. Doing great. Numbers are phenomenal. Thank you for being a great viewer. And also thank you if you run over there to the Edge on YouTube and subscribe with me. I promise you won't be disappointed. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes.
Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
Yeah.
They feed you headlines, cut the frame, say it loud enough, call it fact. Change the words, dodge the blame, sell the lie, then double back.
From Real America's Music, the label that brought you Anthem of the Free, The Boss, and Somali Wall, comes a brand new anthem built for a distrustful age. Truth Bomb by the Truth Bombers.
Bomb, tick, truth.
Talks about distrust of institutions, media manipulation, shifting government narratives, big tech censorship, cancel culture, and ideological silencing. The culture needs a truth bomb, and this track delivers. Download it now. Scan the QR code or search Truth Bomb by the Truth Bombers on iTunes. We've broken records before. Let's do it again together.
All right, folks. Mad Dog, you got some voicemails for us?
Yes, sir. I have viewer explains the origin of hate speech.
Where's my shot of you guys? There it is.
Eric, thank God in 1978 I took Russian history as a senior in high school in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And the one thing I learned back then is that it was the Soviet Union that started hate speech. In other words, if you use a derogatory term to a person from Poland, I won't use the slur, but you could go to prison for that. That's where hate speech originated at. And it entered our universities back in the late 80s. And here we are now, that the American flag, you can burn that. That's a form of protest. But if you burn the pride flag, that's hate. I'm sick of liberals in this country. I'm a retired union electrician, IBEW, very proud of my career, very proud of the union. But I'm an American first, union member second. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Union member wanting that free speech. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What else, Mad Dog? You got a couple more? I know. I sent a bunch in.
Yes, sir. We have Vera has a question about the 6B interview.
Hey, Eric, this is Don. I'm a crazy old Marine up here in Spring Hill, Florida. Great show you got there. Love watching you. Listen, you brought Vinny and Big D from Studio 6B in there. What'd you do? Tell them guys to leave their sense of humor and their smiles as a door? Damn, they were serious. Give them a break. Tell them to laugh it up. Have a good one. Take care. Semper Fi, brother.
All right, so we asked, and this is what we do. The caller just asked about when you and Damon came on the show.
Yeah. They
were like, they liked it. They love 6B. I just wanted to, that's Vinny from 6B, in case you didn't.
This is Vinny Mac, live from Studio 6B.
There you go.
It. Yeah, my favorite show, by the way.
Yeah.
Eric Bowling Show. Just want you to know.
So they were like, yeah, it was good to see those guys a little earlier in the day as well, too. Yeah, so we'll bring you back again.
Yeah, I'm drinking my soldier fuel. I need a little for tonight's show. So
there you go.
I'll make sure you sit up.
I got to get one of those when we get off set. Okay, Mad Dog, you have another one?
Yes, sir. This is viewers concerned with religious flags flying instead of American flags.
Hey, Eric. I just watched your show, and I just saw a guy make a comment about the gay pride flag and how disgusting it is and everything like that. I really think that the United States and the people in this country really need to start worrying about these treasonous governors that are changing out the American flag or their state flag for an 8-pointed star Islamic flag. I think that's the thing that we need to be worrying about, not people that are already here in the United States. I'm gay myself, and I am a conservative, and I am a Republican as well, and I agree with a lot of stuff that you are saying. All us gay people are not the same as the LGBTQ. As a matter of fact, I'm against it. I just think y'all need to start thinking about what you're talking about before you start blabbing out your mouth. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Love you guys.
Thank you for that call. Listen, you know where I stand on this. I'm libertarian. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you want to wake up. I don't care how you dress. Just keep it away from the kids. Keep it away from people who don't want to be part of it. And certainly keep it off the White House. When Joe Biden put the gay flag, the pride flag, and flanked it with the U.S. with Old Glory, that was a huge mistake. It should never happen again. And to Chuck Schumer to say that the gay pride flag should have the same status as the American flag, the flag that tens of thousands of Americans have died defending the ideals that they represent. That's insanity, Chuck. These people are lunatics on the left. I appreciate you. You're gay. I actually, the best part of that call is that you broke out. You said you were gay, but you said, I'm America first, but then you are conservative, but you said, then I'm Republican too, because those aren't the same thing. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for calls like that. It's helpful. But yeah, appreciate your comment. No pride with I have no problem with the way you want to live your life. Knock yourself out. Just keep it away from the kids. And if I don't want to deal with it, don't make me deal with it. That's all I'm asking. Mad Dog.
Vera knows why Muslims don't like dogs.
Hey, Eric, this is Mary from Maine. I know why the Muslims don't like dogs or don't want dogs around, because dogs can sense evil. They know when someone's off. If you have dogs, you know the people that they don't like, and you always be a little skeptical, just like children. If they don't like a person, then you got to watch out. But they don't like dogs because dogs know how evil they are. And it's our last form of protection. If we don't have weapons, our dogs will take care of it for us. That's why they don't like them. That's why they want to get rid of them. So that's my opinion. Love you, Eric. I love you guys. I'm watching Vinny and Damien and you. I watch the 6B every night and you every day.
Look at that.
God bless you, Eric, for being there for us.
Well,
thank you.
Mary, thank you for the call. I agree with you. If you don't like this, first of all, I think it goes both ways. Dogs see evil. Dogs have incredible senses. They're even able to sometimes smell cancers on your breath. Think about that for a second. Dogs are an integral part of our society, not only our friends, our helpers, but they also, as you point out, sometimes they go into places where it's too dangerous for humans to do it. I agree. Dogs have to stay, but they also do sense when there aren't good people around. My dogs know when people are bad. They don't treat them the same way as when good people come. And I think it just goes both ways. They see it evil, and people who know that they're being exposed by the dogs don't want dogs around. Muslims are going to leave before dogs will leave America. I can guarantee you that. There's one thing I know markets. I don't know much about politics or anything else. I know markets, and I also know that dogs are more beloved to this country right now than some of these lunatic Islamists. Let's call them Islamists. I won't say all Muslims, I'll say Islamists. All right, folks, have a great night. By the way, Vinny and Dame, wow, you guys love that 6B show. We got to get them back here. Got some comments on those guys, too. We'll see you tomorrow. Bannon's coming.